present simple. We use it for describe routines and things that usually we do. We can use words like usually, often, never, always, rarely. We use the auxiliary is, are, and am.
Use the simple present to express the idea that an action is repeat or usual. The action can be a habit, a hobby, a daily event, a scheduled event, or something that often happens. It can also be something a person often forgets or usually doesn't do. For example, I play tennis. She does not play tennis. Does he play tennis? The train leaves every morning at 8 a.m. The simple present can also indicate the speaker's belief that a fact was true before, is true now, and will be true in the future. It is not important if the speaker is correct about a fact. It is also used to make generalizations about people or things. For example, cats like milk. Birds don't like milk. Do pigs like milk? Speakers occasionally use simple present to talk about scheduled events in the near future. This is most commonly done when talking about public transportation, but it can be used with other scheduled events as well. For example, the train leaves tonight at 6 p.m. The bus doesn't arrive at 11 a.m. It arrives at 11 p.m. When do we board the plane? Speakers sometimes use the present to express the idea that an action is happening or isn't happening now. This can only be done with noun continuous verbs and certain mixed verbs. For example, I'm here now. She isn't not here now. He needs her right now. When we use present simple in affirmative form, first we need the subject plus the verb in present and the complement. In negative form, we need the subject, then don't or doesn't, plus the verb in present and finally the complement. An interrogative form, we need first do or does, plus the subject, plus the verb in present and finally the complement. First, we use the present continuous for things that are happen at the moment of speaking. These things are usually last for quite a short time and they are not finished when we are talking about them. For example, I'm working at the moment. Please call back as we are eating dinner now. Julie is sleeping. 2. We can also use this tense for other kinds of temporary situation, even if the action isn't happening at this moment. For example, John's working in a bar until he finds a job in his field, but he might not be working now. I'm reading a really great book. She's staying with her friend for a week. 3. We can use the present continuous for temporary or new habits. For normal habits that continue for a long time, we use the present simple. We often use this expression like these days or at the moment. For example, he's eating a lot these days. She's swimming every morning, but she didn't used to this. You're smoking too much. 4. Another present continuous use is for habits that are not regular but happen very often. In this case, we usually use an adverb like always, forever, or constantly. Often, we use the present continuous in this way to talk about annoying habit. For example, you're forever losing your case. She's constantly missing the train. Lucy's always smiling. When we use present continuous or progressive in affirmative form, first we need the subject, then am with I, is with he, she, and it, or are with you, we, and they, plus the verb in present, plus ing, and finally the complement. In negative form, we need the subject plus I'm not, isn't or aren't, plus the verb in present plus ing, and finally the complement. And in interrogative form, first we need am, is or are, then the subject plus the verb in present with ing, and finally the complement.